So I hereby call to order the Economic Development Commission on this November 10th of 2021. First point of order, I'd like to welcome a new member, Steve Grogan, to the EDC. Welcome.
Congratulations. Did you get your letter, by the way? You did, okay.
Thank you for joining, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so first topic on the agenda here, besides the welcome, is the EDC reorganization. You know, our chair left, we're kind of in an interim chair situation right now. And so I think we just have to consider, I guess, chair, co-chair, secretary positions.
Chair, vice chair.
Vice chair.
Vice chair.
Vice chair. Anybody have thoughts or, you know, want to make any movements or anything like that in terms of who, you know, ideas on who should hold what role?
I think you should take the chair, and Steve should take the vice chair.
And you'll be secretary?
Sure.
For one meeting, what does the secretary do other than record?
I think recording is fine for now. And we can figure out, you know, who has what other duty.
I would suggest his recommendations that you be the chair, you're the vice chair, and just let the secretary go unfilled. Can't assign it to Carol because she's not here.
No, right.
She wouldn't
yeah, of
want it
course.
anyways.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine too. That's fine too.
And one of you two can either be both. You know,
Wanna
for
be both?
recording.
That'll make a good secretary.
You were doing good with the notes anyways, and
We-
it's not like we have 2-hour meetings and
Sure.
you got a bunch of recording to do.
I think it's easier if one person runs the meeting, another person takes the notes, though.
Yeah.
I have a template that I've been, you know, working on slowly, making a little bit better. I can share that with you if that makes it easier too. Does that work?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Scott, you good with that too?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry, I was just reading the last.
It's fine.
Yep, I'm good with
Okay.
that.
All right. Does anybody want to make a movement?
We even
To
need
the
a
same.
motion, we need a second.
Yep.
I will motion for the changes in reorganization for the EDC, for Luke to be chairman.
No, Luke's gone.
I mean, Luke. Well, I was just reading this and it said Luke in it. For Nick to be chairman and Steve to be vice.
One at a
Chair.
time, one at a time.
What?
One motion at a time.
Oh, you can't, okay. And then the second motion is,
So we
But
have to.
vote on one motion.
All right.
Make a motion that Nick will be the chairman of the Economic Development Commission. Someone second it?
I second it.
You made the motion.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's got to second it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Any dissension as to why it would not pass unanimously?
Any discussion?
Okay.
Take a vote.
By roll call?
You can do roll call or you can do ayes because everybody's here basically.
Okay. We can vote by ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion to make Nick Joanidi Chair of Economic Development Commission passes unanimously. I'm just making a note here of that. Okay. Second motion, I motion that Steve Grogan be appointed Vice Chair of the Economic Development Commission.
Do you have a second?
I second it.
Motion has been seconded. Any discussion on the topic?
Nope.
All right, I call to vote the same motion. Aye?
Do I vote?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Aye.
we have to because we need 3 votes. It's not a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Co-chair. Vice Chair.
If we were voting to have your house rezoned, that would be a conflict of interest.
Yes. Yes, okay. Okay. The other parts of this that we might want to go over, so we'd also decided no secretary for now. We can kind of pass secretarial duties in terms of note-taking as we go around. Once we have more people, then we can start appointing the secretary. Okay. Other pieces. So I know that Luke was taking care of the website. Does anybody here have access, or should we, request that from?
I think it was just a Facebook page, I thought. What? I don't
There's
know.
Facebook too.
I don't know if there's an actual,
An actual website.
On douglasmass.whatever, there's an Economic Development Commission page that we post information on grants and other, things that we're doing.
Yeah, during the COVID, there was a lot of stuff going on. Now it's kind of benign.
Right.
and the last time I looked at the Facebook page, well, at least on the town, I don't have Facebook, so I just checked it from the town's webpage, and it doesn't look like there's been a post or an update in a long time.
Yeah, right. Okay. And you're not like an admin on that, correct?
No.
And you wouldn't be because you just joined.
I don't even know who has access to any of that.
I don't either.
I'll try to get to the bottom of it, or one of us can, Okay. The website, okay. So that walked out the door, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Okay, so those were the two established topics that we had. We're now in open session for any other topics that we haven't anticipated within 48 hours in advance. I know I wanted to just give a quick update on the town hall votes if, everyone else was not able to attend. I had a conflict, I wasn't able to attend, but I was able to watch it. Bob, I think you were there.
At the town meeting
At the
Monday?
town
Yeah, I
meeting.
was there.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to give any other updates, make any motions, any other topics?
There were two items on the town meeting for economic development. One was Article 6, which is the one that came out of this commission for rezoning.
Yep.
I shouldn't say rezoning, amending the use table
Yep.
to include restaurants in the
Yep.
village residential district, going from a previous not allowed to allowed by special permit from the planning board, which is PB.
Yep.
That change went through. Went from here to the planning board. Planning board recommended to change PB. You guys made the recommendation for zoning board, which was BA.
Mhm.
Planning board then changed it to PB for planning board, and subsequently changed the RC1 and RC2 from BA to PB as well. That went to the selectmen approved it, came back to the planning board for a public hearing. That was successful, went back to the selectmen. It just bounced.
Right.
Every 2 weeks it bounced. And it was put on the warrant. It was passed unanimously at the town meeting.
Yep.
The second one was eminent domain
Yep.
on a 3.09 acre piece. Are you guys up why that was there?
So I watched the meeting. If you want to give an update, I can give what I know, but all I know is from the town hall.
I'm basically on top of that one.
Good, okay.
What happened was when McIntyre's gravel pit was sold in 1965, there was a piece that was not included in that transaction. The previous owner, which we theorize is a Raymond C. Hall, retained ownership of this little 3.09 piece. The rest of the gravel pit went to Rosenfeld, which then sold it to McIntyre, and then McIntyre is involved with our 1 million square foot warehouse. That little 3.09 piece is, we found deeds where it was deeded to the town in 1951. However, no book page number, which means it was never recorded. We have maps that show it as belonging to the town of Douglas, many maps showing it belongs to the town of Douglas. Somewhere in that translation, a deed disappeared. So we tried looking at the tax records since 1951. No one has paid tax on that. We just assumed the town owned it since 1951. That's what, 60 years? No one's paid taxes on it. The town won't tax itself. Well, during a title search, there was no clear title transferring that land to the town because no book, no page number in the registry of deeds. So now we're just taking, what we think is we're just taking our land by eminent domain. As one of the finance committee members made the argument that Big Brother with the big club is clubbing a private owner and taking their land. That's not the case. This eminent domain process is clearing title. We believe it's ours, but it's not recorded as such, even though we have a lot of data that say it's ours. So we're just clearing the title at this point. It's not like going to one of your houses and say, we want to put a building there, we're taking your property. That's what everybody thinks eminent domain is. The silent eminent domain is what we're doing, clearing title. We're not really taking land. So that's it in a nutshell on that one. And there was a big misunderstanding at the meeting. I thought the selectmen explained it perfectly. I think town council explained it nicely. But there were still 3 people in the audience who believed that it shouldn't happen anyways. But it's not as bad as it sounds.
A lot of, consternation whenever the words eminent domain come up, understandably.
Yes, it's like when you build a warehouse and it's got Amazon on it, people think, well, traffic. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Amazon has a bad connotation with, you look at Milford, you look at all these towns, Greendale Mall, opposition right now. It's the same you're associated with Amazon, warehouse, bad name. You're associated with eminent domain, it's bad. But in this case, it's not bad. We're used to the cases where a city will want a skyscraper and buy out property
Right.
owners to not stop economic development. This is not the case. We're just getting something we believe is ours and clearing title on it.
Right.
How do you think it was never recorded?
My personal theory is when you go to record something, you do a title search, they never owned it in the first place. That's one reason you can't record a deed. I could go to the registry now with a deed on your property and say, I'd like to record this. And they'll look at the title search, and the title search will say, well, you did not buy it, you don't own it. Scott Duncan owns that.
Yeah.
Now I can't record it. We think someone else owned it prior to, back in the 1847 era. That's how far they're going back. And we have hired a title examiner to search this. They're in the 3rd week of the search right now. It is not a simple search. I've got a stack of deeds that I've been going through the last 6 weeks trying to research this.
So it's not for lack of trying.
No, but everything I come up with, it's town of Douglas
Right.
since 1951.
Right. So this seems like a big name of a procedure, but it's really to correct more of a clerical error.
It basically, yes.
Yeah.
Now, that deed could be conceivably misfiled. It could have got on a secretary's desk. Here, run this to registry tomorrow. Another piece of paper went on it, and it's still sitting there 60 years later on the bottom stack. It could have been placed in a file. The same thing happened in Bellingham 20 years ago. They had a very large piece, went to sell it to a developer. They did a title search. There was a small piece right smack in the middle that did not clear title. So they were going to take that by eminent domain. In the process of checking files and deeds, the file that was next to this property in the town hall, that's where the deed was filed. It was misfiled. It's that simple.
Yep.
We don't know. We can't find the deed. We've searched all the safes, town hall, we can't find the deed.
Yeah, and I think somebody hasn't paid tax on that in, what, 70 years?
60
So-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And if somebody did own it, they would have been paying taxes on it.
right.
Because the town does not let taxes go more than a few years, and they'll call you.
Right. Right. Okay. I think the other one that we had were wages that were increased on the EDC. And that was mostly, I think you talked about that last meeting.
Wages.
So there was that wage increase. It was like the first agenda item.
Oh, Article 1.
Article
Yeah,
1.
that was basically me going part-time to full-time.
Yep.
Part-time is 19 hours, full-time is 30 hours. It has gotten so involved right now, it's not a part-time job.
No.
And last year it wasn't a volunteer job, it became part-time. But it's just, it's something the town has not done. It's 20 years of catch-up at this point.
Yeah. You're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
Now, they alluded to something in the town hall meeting, that there may have been a development on the grants that you've been working on.
Yeah, if you want me to get into announcement of the grants?
I would love that, unless somebody has something that we want to discuss first.
No, that'd be,
The first one was what we always refer to as MassWorks grant. They have now folded 9 grants into one program called One Stop Community for Growth, of which MassWorks is one of those 9. We applied for a full application. We checked the MassWorks infrastructure box, and of course, they agreed with our assessment that it does belong in MassWorks. We had a $12.4 million project, which was water, sewer, natural gas. We're upgrading a 8-inch water line on North Street to 16-inch. We're upgrading a 6-inch on Gilboa Street to 12-inch. We're extending from the Shell gas station to the new warehouse down there, a brand-new 12-inch line. We're also putting in a 4-inch force sewer line, which is a pressure line. So they'll be pumping from there to our new pumping station, which is located right across the mill. If you notice across the mill, the old pumping station, that thing's older than all of us put together.
do you know how many times I've heard the alarm going off on that thing?
Well, we're replacing it.
Yeah.
The Band-Aids are falling off. It's that bad. The other day, they had to pump it. It's just, it's awful. You can't buy parts for it, it's just old. So we've got new design right next to it, a brand-new, high-energy efficient, bells and whistles, bypass, nice pump. And then we'll be putting a 6-inch, taking the 4-inch out of Gilboa Street, which is on the south side, replacing it with a 6-inch with the increased flows from these warehouses. Northeast Main Street, there's presently an 8-inch line going to a 12-inch line. The 1 million square foot warehouse for us in Douglas will connect the Northeast Main Street with the Gilboa Street. There'll be a cross tie. It creates a loop. That's where you get your pressure.
Yeah, you'll have an equal pressure all the way
Yeah,
around.
so no matter where you pull it from, you'll be feeding from 2 directions as opposed to the end of a line. There's really not much, there's less pressure at the end of a line. So that's basically in a nutshell. We're still working with Eversource to bring gas down Lackey Dam Road in Sutton at the Oakhurst intersection. They need to come through Sutton, 1,700 feet, 2,200 feet will be a 3,900-foot total run to Blackstone Logistics. Then from there, 2,250 to the town Douglas line, Uxbridge Douglas town line, another 900 feet to our warehouse, then to DeCaro's, and hopefully while we have these streets ripped up, before we repave it, let's put the gas line all the way to Main Street. And it's about 12,450 feet of gas line. It's an expensive project, $12.5 million. When we applied for MassWorks, it was a 39-page application. I was working with a consultant. We finally got that done, submitted that June 4th. We got a call back in August saying, guys, we're not funding a private organization, natural gas, Eversource. We will take care of a municipality, water sewer for us, but we're not funding natural gas. Even though they have in the past, they've changed gears. So we had to pull that out. So the 12.5 went down to 8.1. So we applied for a $4.5 million grant. We finally got the award about a month ago. We got a $3 million grant for that one. So we're still looking for $1.5 million. I've applied for a $350,000, it's called a redo grant with the Massachusetts Office of Business Development. They had an extra $5 million floating around, so we applied for $350,000 of it. As a Sutton Douglas Uxbridge grant for the Blackstone Valley Logistics, because it's a 3-town warehouse. It's physically located in 3 towns. I'm also working right now on a $5.6 million federal grant, EDA. So hopefully we can get this thing totally funded. And the EDA stands for Economic Development Administration. They're based in Philadelphia for the Northeast region. Just talked to their representative this afternoon.
That's great.
We
And
certainly fill the boxes with 800 new jobs, $147 million in private infrastructure, which is what the 2 warehouses are worth. Multi-town, Sutton, Uxbridge, Douglas, it just checks all the boxes.
Did they ever, I know they're clearing, so that's all going forward.
Clearing,
They already start for the Blackstone Logistics, they already
yes,
started
they're
clearing.
starting the site work on that,
Yeah.
yeah. They plan on doing the actual construction starting in March, footings, they're just doing some utility work right now. They're scheduled to get occupancy permit November of next year, 2022. So we've got to have this water sewer to them, I'm shooting for by August, with a 2-month contingency period.
so we've still got a bit of a runway before we start.
Yeah,
Breaking ground.
and the town people, once we get into construction, because we plan on starting construction in April. March, if we can do it, if we have a mild winter, I'd like to get in the ground in March. There will be lane closures, North Street will be very challenging, it's narrow to begin with, we will be ripping up one entire side. So we'll probably be doing detours on North Street. Gilboa is wide enough to allow 1 lane, but there will be police details. A lot of logistics to work out. We have to think of emergency equipment, keeping at least 1 lane open, fire trucks, ambulances. That line from the Shell station, the 12-inch main and the 4-inch 4 sewer line, will be going across exits, on-ramps, underneath the overpass.
So closed
So
exits
that
likely.
gets, and I think what they'll do is the exits actually go into 2 splits, it splits, so they'll close one and route everybody around. It'll be a slow process. You won't be taking that off-ramp at 50 miles an hour like you do now. And again, the on-ramp, same thing. There's an island, so you've got 2 entrances. They'll close one, work it, get to the next one, close, and then just flip them.
Lots to think about.
Got to watch about backup on 146 in case you get a rush hour.
Yeah.
We might think of, there's been a lot of meetings as far as how we're going to handle this.
Good. That's great.
Maybe put some signs up to take the next exit or the previous exit.
Yeah.
Just kind of lessen the impact of traffic at that one exit.
Yeah.
Because at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's just a steady stream right in front of your house coming down Gilboa. You can't pull out.
Yeah.
Now throw some construction in there. People will be complaining of bad road conditions. It's not like North Street is a disaster right now.
It's already bad on my street. It's bad enough where the cars are flying by the school buses
Yeah,
with the signs out.
with the signs out. Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
We were
And the milling and overlay will be a year. You have to let these trenches, there will be 3 trenches in most of these roads. Water, sewer, natural gas. Water on one side, sewer on the opposite side, gas probably right down the middle of the road. So there will be 3 open trenches with 3 temporary trench patches. You've seen those roads right now.
The other end.
The other end of Lackey Dam Road going towards the center of Northbridge, you're correct. But that has to settle for a year, and as you notice, it has been settling, so there are dips. They
It's
come
fun.
out, patch it.
Yeah, it's fun to drive.
Yeah, it is. Grab some of them rims, and the milling and overlay will probably be spring of 2023 with new paint. We're working on a grant right now for the sidewalks, because our project was just so big, we could not include sidewalks. And we need to do North Street and Gilboa Street sidewalks, so we're looking at a $400,000 grant right now. A lot of things going on,
You've been busy.
very busy.
Great.
And as far as economic development, it's in a section of town that was identified in 1981 in a study that was done with the Industrial Economic Development Committee. And I think this commission was the offshoot of that.
Got it.
And they identified those areas in town as where industry should be located. The McIntyre Pit, the Pine Sand and Gravel Pit, and the entire strip down Davis Street. And we're presently working all 3.
Excellent. So I wanted to take a moment, I know we're not all the way over the line yet, but we did have major wins. You had major wins, and I wanted to take a moment to thank you for all the hard work that you put into this.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
It's been a ride.
Okay, so I think, let me just look at the agenda here. Approval of minutes. So we each have a packet. The front page is the agenda, and then the next few pages are the minutes from the previous meeting. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to read them, and if you feel so inclined, to make a movement to accept those minutes.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Which day? This
This was July
14th?
14th.
Second?
All in favor?
Second?
Aye. Great. The motion to pass or accept the meeting minutes from July 14th, 2021 has been unanimously passed. Does anybody have any other topics they would like to discuss today before we adjourn? Okay,
I think we talked about everything.
I think we did too.
That was the last minutes we had of July 14th? Because we skipped November, we skipped the October meeting,
We skipped a few meetings.
did we?
Yeah.
That we came to
Yes,
one,
no kidding.
but we didn't have a quorum,
Yeah.
and that was before Steve was a member.
Yep.
So we had to skip that one.
Yeah.
And then, that was August, I think.
Right,
That was
and,
August.
and then September was the Labor Day where the office was closed. You didn't give it sufficient, because you were gonna come in on Monday, and that's when I told you Friday, they're closed.
Yep.
And then they closed at noontime on Friday, so
Yep.
insufficient notice, so.
Yeah.
And you tried rescheduling it, and just nothing was
And
available.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know September was next. I don't know what happened in October.
I don't remember. I can tell you what happened in August, but I can't tell you what happened.
I don't
think
know
one
what I
of,
had for breakfast.
I think one of those months we didn't have any topics too.
Yeah,
That we
I think we
skipped.
just, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
My second?
All those in favor to adjourn? Aye. Okay.
Yes.
We are now adjourned.